fees.
Okay.
And then there's, we've fought against the Nuisance Abatement Act because we didn't want to see the police commissioner be the final one to make the decision whether or not your house gets closed down.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's really been done with the Nuisance Abatement Act except to upset the citizens of York.
Yeah, I don't think they've even applied points.
Because they don't understand that it can even shut down your own personal residence.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't even think that's been applied. I think if you call City Hall and ask about a nuisance property on your block, you'll find that it has no points against it, even though we gave power to the police commissioner to apply those points. And my understanding is that once a property accumulates enough points, that is the mechanism by which the city can then shut down a slumlord or a crack house or a dilapidated house.
Well, there was, I think, they might have been, I think they might have been lax on it because there were so many complaints. Remember, there were certain properties that someone else sat on one man's property or something, and he got blamed for something he didn't do, and that became a big issue, and they began to see how something could transpire into something like that illegally or wrong against the wrong person, and I think they're sort of seeing all those problems with it. And I think they're sort of, just an example. There are some laws that a lot of the police officers don't push, and I'll tell you one of them right now. A lot of people might not be aware of this, but it's actually illegal for you to park your car behind your own garage outside. There is. There's an ordinance against that. Now, if the police officer told me one time, if they start pushing on one, they got to do it on everybody. But they understand it's parking is hard to park, so they sort of let it go because they don't really create that much of a problem. But there's an ordinance against it.
Yeah, you start talking about parking in the city, and now you open up a whole other can of worms right there.
So what I'm saying, so there's stuff like that. Even the police officers understand. Hey, come on now, just got to cut the people a little bit of slack. What are they to do?
But to answer her question, as far as working with the landlords, I think that when the snow needs to be removed, that the city needs to communicate with the landlords what's going on. I think there were problems in the past where, what was it? Was it last year or 2 years ago? The city was closed for 3 days?
2 or 3 years ago, and even though a lot
nobody knew what was going on.
Tried to get in touch with the city to find out if there was going to be an extension, maybe of a couple of hours or something, as far as when snow needed to be removed, because the city never did remove their snow.
Oh, right. That's one of the things on my list that really troubles me in this area.
Hey, what was this thing they said that there weren't no laws? Remember, when Charlie Robinson was mayor, they would take those shovels and go dig the snow with a truck and dump it down at the Cadaris Creek. But then they tell them they're not allowed to do that no more. There's nothing but snow.
I don't know why they wouldn't be. I don't know where our storm water goes.
It goes to the creek anyway.
It goes to the creek anyway. That's what I couldn't understand.
Yeah.
That's all they did is dumped it right there. I mean, it was stuff that, they told them they're not allowed to do that.
We have to look into that because you have to clear it. We've got to get it out.
That's why the city didn't do it. Because otherwise, if they would have been allowed, they would have cleaned all the streets.
The reason the city didn't do it, because I went to the city council meeting about it. Supposedly, the people they contracted to come into the city to clear it never showed up.
Oh.
Now, if I go and they cite me for not clearing some of my sidewalks, and my defense is, well, Your Honor, I hired someone, but they never showed up.
Okay, but
do you think I'm going to get away with that? I think the city needs to follow the same rules that they ask their citizens
Let me bring something out that former Mayor Charlie Robinson told me about one time. He had bought a brand new one of those big shovels to remove snows. It's still sitting down there at the public works. They don't even use it. They could have cleaned the streets with it. It's a big, huge thing that they had, and it's sitting there. They don't even use it.
That's sad.
Yeah.
That's just sad.
Yeah,
what else
can
you even say about that? I think one of the things I look forward to doing is working with the landlords. I think that will help draw a line in the sand as far as which ones are actively working towards helping the community and which ones are actually, abusing the community. That will become clear. I think that the city should be using its website and other forms of technology to keep people updated on the status of the city. I mean, just look yesterday, we had a chemical hazmat spill down at the post office, and you had people all around the city not understanding what's going on. There was no communication between the local government and the people who live here, and that needs to change.
Right, just people being angry because they couldn't get through and not understanding at all why. Nothing on the news, nothing on the radio, nothing, we could sign up for immediate emails or something.
Yeah.
That's when things like that happen, just like on a college campus, you get an immediate notification that
that's a
this
good
is an area. And they half the streets in the city are closed down 50% of the time, and you don't even. And I know that we need the work done, but couldn't there be a better way to coordinate when that's being done so that you don't have 3 streets all going in the same direction, all shut down at the same time, with people, especially people that aren't familiar with the city, then having no idea how to get around that?
Yes, the answer is yes. There is room for improvement on the communication and working with the landlords.
Well, we'd love to see somebody in the mayor's office that actually wants to hear from our perspective and our side of it, because truthfully, anybody that actually is buying real estate, which not many people are anymore, and the city has become a very unfriendly place to buy rental property. But most of those people are taking their hard-earned money out of their pocket to be able to try to provide reasonable housing for other people. Not all of them are just getting rich. Because remember, those taxes that you're paying, we're paying too. So when somebody's paying us rent, the first $200 or $300 a month of that rent's going towards taxes.
Correct.
I had to plenty. I keep talking about Charlie Robinson, but the thing when he was the mayor, Charlie was a full-time mayor.
Yes.
See, the mayor's office says it's only part-time. That's only part-time job.
No, it should be a full-time job.
But Charlie even walked the streets and talked to the people and found out what's going on. And I gotta give my buddy a plug here too, Eugene Pasquale. When he first ran, I always supported him, and he does that too. Eugene walks the streets.
I
see him more than the mayor downtown, yes.
And also have open doors.
Yes, and he's a state representative, and I see him more than my local chief law enforcement officer. Yes, imagine that. Right, imagine that.
We need to see the city the city officers represented when there are emergencies and crises and things like that. I don't understand that you never see the mayor at a city council meeting. You never see the mayor at the scene of a fire like
you do in Harrisburg, Stephen Reed.
Yeah.
He's always there.
Good man.
I'd love to have Stephen Reed come and be our mayor, and I'd like to see somebody like Stephen Reed. And from what I understand,
how about Stephen Young in between? I got the first name.
From my conversations with Mr. Young, I believe that Mr. Young would be that kind of mayor, mainly because I've already seen Mr. Young out on the street talking to the neighbors, talking to the neighborhoods, even though right now he has no official capacity, and trying to clean up the neighborhood that he lives in and the neighborhoods surrounding him. And people have to stop moving away. They have to stand their ground.
That's it.
And say, this is my neighborhood, you're the criminal, you leave.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
I've been through it. I live in the trenches of this city. I live downtown. The time that I've been in this city, they've tried to convince me that apathy was the way. They tried to convince me that I needed to be depressed. And, people call me a complainer. They say that I do this and that. I say, find one thing I've complained about that I shouldn't have. And just like you said, I've been there for the fires. I've been there when there was emergencies. I was at the bomb threat last week. It's a calling. You don't get told what to do. You just know that that's what you're supposed to do. And that's why I'm stepping up to the plate and trying to lead this city and turn it in the right direction that's going to be inviting for people, both here as a resident as well as the county. The county is the secret to turning this city around.
And the mayor can always be there so you can see how bad situation, so you know what support to give them or what type of help maybe to ask the governor for or whatever, because they can see how bad the situation really is. It gets first-hand account. And there's also to support the people that's there to let them know that I'm on the scene, I'm here, I'll let your representative see what I can do to help you.
But I plan on being a full-time mayer, which is exactly one of the things that you mentioned.
The office also, they need to have an open door policy where the mayor, people can come in and see the mayor, talk to him, trace the perch.
But we have to have a mayor that's going to actually listen and do something about it. Not just, I know people that have gone the whole way through the ranks and talked to everybody from the top down and the bottom back up again. And it's like, depending on the situation, it's like talking to a stone wall. You need to feel as though even if the situation cannot be changed, that you were at least heard and